Cavin Elizabeth, a wedding photographer based in San Diego. I often do videos about wedding planning tips as well as some wedding fitness because that has been my journey for a while. Now, I haven't really done a fitness video in a long time, and because we just moved to a different area of San Diego, I'm going to a new Pilates studio. And for me, when I go into a new gym or sort of new exercise type thing, it does give me a lot of social anxiety. And I hear this a lot from other friends that they're experiencing this. So I'm going to tell you guys kind of how I deal with my social anxiety when exercising at a gym where there's a lot of people around. That's something that I struggled with for a very long time. And then eventually my fiance and I started working with a trainer together, and going in with him definitely made it helpful. But now I have almost no social anxiety about going to the gym, and this new Pilates studio, it's a lot better than it would have been in the past for my anxiety. But I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips today for how you can break through that anxiety and make sure that you are getting yourself to exercise so that you are a healthier person. The first one is something that I did when I first started my Pilates, and that was to take an intro class. Now, an intro class is a class where people who have really never done it before or who have never been there can go in for a shorter amount of time. They can learn where everything is, which for me is a huge part of my anxiety. I don't know where the weights are. I don't know where the bathroom is. I don't know where this goes. The unknown of that gives me anxiety, and maybe it doesn't for you, maybe that seems silly, but a lot of people have that issue. So an intro class can show you all of those things, and then they'll also show you some of the fundamental moves that you're going to be doing in the class. So for Pilates, for example, they showed me all the things about the reformer, what we might be doing on it, what everything was called, where it all was, how to adjust springs, all of those different elements that might have made me very anxious if I had just jumped into a group class and not known what was happening. So if your gym or some studio that you want to go to offers some sort of demo or intro class, I would definitely take them up on that. If you don't see any, maybe you can email them and ask if you can come by when no one's there so that you can kind of see what's going on, get shown where things are. I find that the more I eliminate those things that give me anxiety, the more likely I am to follow through on doing that activity. So that's something that you guys can do to help you feel less anxious. Another one that you can try, which is definitely going to be more expensive, but perhaps you can just do it once or twice, is to take a private lesson. For me, that feels a lot less stressful because there aren't all the other people around. And so you might find that a private lesson can kind of help you feel more comfortable, and then you can start joining the group. Or if you've got the funds for it, you can keep doing your privates. But I do find that group like exercises can be fun. A lot of people in my Pilates class are really funny, so they'll like interact with the instructor during. So I do find it more enjoyable. Plus, it's also nice when the instructor's eyes aren't only on you, because if you're feeling tired for a second, you kind of cheat for a quick minute and then jump back into it without them like getting on your case. So sometimes that can be a relief for me. I know that's kind of like a bad thing to say, but let's be honest, every now and then you're just too tired to keep going. You got to take a break for like 5 seconds before you jump back in. So try out a private if you can, and that's something that you can do again to get yourself comfortable with being in that gym. One of the biggest things I think is what people call gym intimidation, and that is you go in and you see all of these people who, might look better than you in your eyes. Maybe they're buffer, they're leaner, whatever it might be, or they're on the treadmill faster and longer, anything that makes you feel less than. Trust me when I say that nobody in that gym is caring or thinking or analyzing anything about you and how you look or how you're performing. When I am at the gym, I am very focused on how tired I'm getting and how heavy the weights are that I'm lifting, or the Pilates stuff that I'm doing. I'm focusing on my breath. I am not thinking about what other people are doing. And that is because I am just too physically miserable to care about what anybody else is doing. I'm there to make myself look and feel better. I'm not there to look around at other people. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people who do that, but I think a majority of the time you're going to find that no one cares. No one's paying attention to you. You just have to remind yourself of that. They're in there not to look at other people. They're there to better themselves. So that's why I go. And I can say that if I see somebody walk into the gym who is pretty out of shape and overweight, I just think good for them. Like, this is great that they're in here now. Like, I'm so happy for them that they're trying this, despite the fact that most of these other people in here look really, really fit and intimidating. So I typically think positive things like, I'm really glad they're doing that. That's really great that they're here. And you have to remember sometimes too, that there might be people in your class or in the gym that have been doing this for years. I have some women in my Pilates classes who, I'm not even joking, are in their 70s and 80s, and they have a stronger core than I do. And that makes me feel so bad about myself sometimes, but I had to remember these ladies do this every single day. They're retired. They've been doing it for the last 10, 20 years. I have one woman at my Pilates studio who apparently can do a 50 or 60-minute plank. That's insane, but she's been doing this for so long. So remember that everybody is somewhere on their journey. They might be behind you or ahead of you. They could be ahead of you by 10 years. And so again, like, don't worry about other people. They're not worrying about you. Remember that you are where you are, and you can only be starting today to better yourself. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. You're here today, and you are going to be on that path, and maybe one day you'll catch up to them. And that's just great motivation. So don't be discouraged if you are the smallest person there, if you're trying to be muscular, or if you're the most overweight person there, if you're trying to lose weight. Doesn't matter. It's great that you're there, and everyone should be supportive of you, and no one is going to judge you for however you look or perform. My last tip is really great for if you are still anxious after all these tips and kind of want to go somewhere but are just still a little bit too hesitant because your anxieties are getting in the way. And that is to do things that you know are going to help. So if you are going to a gym, maybe bring some music or listen to a podcast so that that is what's in your head and not what else is going around. So do all these things maybe after you've taken a tour or done an intro. So at this point, it should not be as difficult. I always say just give it a try, and if it's too much, you can back off, or you can reevaluate and say, what else do I need to do to make me feel less anxious about this? Another thing you can do is go with a friend. So if it's a Pilates class, for example, you and a friend can take the intro, and then you guys can go to classes together, and maybe eventually you'll get to the point where if they're sick or can't go, you go on your own, and you're totally fine with that. So anything that you need to do to make this an easier process for yourself, I fully recommend it. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I will be doing an update on my wedding physique and fitness. I have definitely not been eating as well as I should have been, so I have got to start a cut again. I don't want to, it's really hard, but I need to do it for the wedding and to just feel better about myself. So I'll give you guys an update video about that probably in a couple weeks. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!